We just heard from Anne-Marie Gilles. She lost her mum in aged care last year at Epping Gardens and was very emotional still, obviously. And it's also a reminder that mental health is as big a problem now as it has ever been.
Oh, Pete, look, that is so much the case. And look, can I start by just reaching out to all of our families and friends and colleagues in Melbourne and in Victoria and say, look, you may feel as though we're not with you, but believe me, in spirit, we really are. We so feel for what you're going through. Because what we know, Pete, is that when restrictions are reimposed, then it brings back up to the surface all of those feelings of out of control or loss of agency, if you like, anxiety, what we call psychological distress. But this time around, and this is what's really concerning, is we're all coming off such a low base. I mean, pandemic fatigue has really set in, and just sometimes even taking that first step to reach out for help, we know we should, but somehow we don't have the energy. And I guess my call out is just take that nano-step and reach out, because we are there to help people, and that's critical to ensuring we can get through.
Who's suffering most, do you think, Christine?
Look, I think this is across the spectrum. I think one of the things we learned, Pete, during this whole COVID episodes, if you like, is our mental health is an integral part to each and every one of us. It's as much a part of us as our physical health. So if we're being subjected to restrictions, etc., it can affect all of us, but in different ways. So whether we're a young person who feels their education is yet again being compromised, whether we're living on our own and that sense of loneliness and being disconnected, whether we're parents, whether we're small business owners, all of us are subject to it, and there's no one bit that fits, which is why it is so important when you're feeling those levels of anxiety to find someone you can put it into words with. Find a strategy for yourself that will help you through.
What about children, Christine, and the kids who again can't go to school in Victoria?
Look, I know, and my heart just goes out to them. I mean, at a time in your life when you're really on the cusp of what does my future hold, and I've got these hurdles of exams, etc., coming up, and suddenly I'm out of control again. What I would say to them is, we feel for you. We acknowledge this is going to make it tough for you. I think as parents and as members of their sort of circle of influence, we should understand just how vulnerable they will be feeling. And it's those things to get you through in the short term so we can build on the long term. Big part of that is recognising it's okay to invest in ourselves.
Sure. Do you believe that there should be priorities in that sense to try and get kids back to school?
Look, I think we've always got a balance, don't we, between the health risks and the other challenges which come with our mental health. So I would very consciously bow to the health experts when it comes to when is it safe for children to be back in school. But I think we can do things alongside that it's that old thing we said right at the beginning of this. It's not social distancing. It's physical distancing with social connected. So stay connected with each other.
And there's a bit of criticism that's being placed. I know you don't want to weigh in a policy debate, and that's fine, but there's a bit of criticism over the language that's been used by the Victorian health officials in the last couple of days. Very, very dramatic. A lot of people say it's over the top. There's beast that's going to be out there and it's going to be killing people. I mean, and then there's only a few dozen cases in the end. So can that be worrying and triggering for people?
Absolutely, we need to be concerned about the language we use. You know, we all fall into colloquialisms, don't we, and we call something a beast or whatever. But actually, when we're feeling emotionally vulnerable, mentally stretched or stressed, then words can take on a heightened significance to us. So I think there is a legitimate reason for us all to just be careful of the language we're using, to not seek to over-dramatise, but at the same time, of course, we don't want to minimise the impact. So I guess my point would be to say, let's be careful with how we talk with each other and talk about things. Let's not minimise what we're up against, but let's always know that there are ways through, and this is something that can be managed, and it is something we will come out the other side.
Good and important advice. Christine Morgan, appreciate your time this morning. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you again soon. And
thanks, Pete.
Support for your mental health is available 24/7 and free. You can go and head to health.com, health.gov.au, and there, of course, is a line that you can contact if you need it.